Okay, welcome everybody. Come on in and join us. We have about 80 folks registered for today, so we're going to get started in a few minutes. We'll allow folks to get into the call. Again, welcome everybody. We have about 80 folks that registered, so we are going to wait a couple of minutes here to get started, allow folks to come on in and join us. All right, well, why don't, we know we'll have people come and join us as we get going. So out of respect for everybody's time, especially the folks that we have on this morning, we know that they're extremely busy right now. Why don't we get started? My name is Santiago Marquez. I'm the president and CEO of the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. As always, it's an honor to be here, with you guys. It's an honor to serve you guys. As we're doing this, I hope that you and your families are safe and I hope that you're able to practice the mitigating, the social distancing and staying at home. Just to remind everybody, we're still under a shelter-in-place order here in Georgia, even though we know some of the businesses have opened up until Thursday, until tomorrow, and we'll see what the governor has to say at that point. Just a reminder as to what is the chamber is doing during this period. We continue to update our GHCC COVID-19 webpage every day. Please go to our website to find information. We get information from the White House, emails, we get information from the governor's office, we get information from the Small Business Administration. And as we're getting that information, we're updating and refreshing the page, I would say, every couple of hours. We are also conducting these webinars. Some we do on Zoom and some we do on Facebook Live to try to bring you the most relevant information that we have from the experts that are out here trying to help you with your businesses and your health. And of course, we are serving on Governor Kemp's task force, and we also have started our own task force. It's being led by Gabriel Vaca, which meets every Thursday. And while I'm on that note, I do want to thank all of the team at the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for working tireless hours. We're continue to answer our phones from Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. We are not in the office yet, and we continue to answer our emails on a daily basis. So if you need us, please reach out to us. Either call us at 404-929-9998, 404-929-9998, or go to our website and send us an email. We're happy to help you. Without further ado, let's get started. We've got some very special guests today. We have the regional director for the Small Business Administration, a good friend of ours, Ashley Bell, who is also in charge of entrepreneurship for the United States and was appointed by President Trump to do that. And we're lucky that he's one of ours. He's from here, from Georgia. And we have Grace Fricks, who is the founder and CEO of Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, which is now involved in the PPP and is actually, I just heard 23% of the loans that have been made are for Hispanic businesses. So that's very encouraging. So why don't we go ahead and get started with Ashley. Ashley, if you will give us an update, please, on what's happening in terms of the nation and the country and the district, from the Small Business Administration.
Yeah, thank you, Santiago, for having me back. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate the time that the Georgia Hispanic Chamber has put into providing resources, be it through your webpage or through webinars like this. I think it's an important outreach tool. And I think that, times like this, we really are appreciative of your leadership and what you're able to offer to all businesses, especially your members who invest their time and their talent as well across this state to benefit the people that we know need help the most. So I'll jump right into it and talk a little bit about round one. In round one of our payroll protection plan was a learning round. You know, we were asked to do something we've never done before. In 14 days, SBA lent more money out than it had in 14 years. We were able to do that through work with our private banks. They were the front line, so we had to use them in order to get money out the door. And then we also were able to meet that challenge by help from CDFIs and some fintech as well. So what we were able to do is see a tremendous amount of money put back into the economy. As you know, unemployment is high across the board, and it hits Hispanic businesses, African-American businesses tremendously, disproportionately. And so getting unemployment down, this was a huge step in that direction to do that. In Georgia alone, the payroll protection plan was able to put back over $9 billion back into the economy. That's $9 billion, where 75% of that has to be used on employees, on making sure that Georgia businesses are either hiring back employees that were laid off, or they are sustaining them through this program for the next 8 weeks as we get through this. So I think that was huge. Nationally, we know we've saved over 60 million jobs have been supported through our efforts. This is what flattening the curve economically looks like, making sure that those high unemployment numbers have been capped at those industries that we know are affected the most, and that they're starting to decline now. So the top industries, the number one industry for the PPP program has been construction. Our construction labor base has been dramatically affected, and those jobs have been saved. Next are professional services. Those jobs have been saved. And then food and service, food accommodations as well, which are most of our retail and many of our restaurants. These are the top 3 sectors out of the 15 or so that we're tracking that are seeing tremendous support from the PPP. So now we're at round 2. And what does round 2 mean? Round 2 means that we're doing a more targeted approach on making sure that smaller lenders are separated from larger lenders to make sure that we're getting a deeper penetration into underserved communities. That means that we're categorizing banks in 3 categories: your large banks, your mid-tier banks, and your smaller banks, which are institutions that have under $1 billion in assets. And so that's important because that allows us to track how supportive these different categories are of the program and make sure that we're getting resources out the door. So I think as of today, by far, that goal has worked. We're seeing small banks under $1 billion in assets are far outpacing larger banks as far as actual dollars out of the door and the loan volume that is getting to people. So we feel as though this differential is allowing us to make sure that smaller markets, underserved markets, rural markets are benefiting. And so I'm so glad to have our friends from ACE here who also understand quite well the mission of that work, and also understand quite well the challenges in making sure that women and minority-owned businesses have access to capital. This is a mission they've always had, and this right now is an incredible part of our mission at SBA to make sure that all American businesses have an opportunity to partake in this process, have access to the capital they need to get their employees funded. And we look forward to continuing that partnership with you and with organizations like ACE to make sure we make that a reality.
Well, thank you, Ashley. And let me state to everybody that they can ask questions in the Q&A box. Your microphones are muted, but if you have questions, please post them and we will answer them, because we're really lucky to have both of you guys here with us. So if I'm a business owner and I participated in that first round of PPP and I never heard anything back because, it's no blame here. It is what it is. What do I do now? Do I go back and apply or?
Well, and I think that's a great question, Santiago. And I think that it's one that requires a very frank answer. If you have a bank, especially if you're at a large bank, and we'll just say a bank so big that you can't talk to someone on the phone, right? Let's just say that the PPP program, you've applied to a bank and you never actually talked to anybody. You just got a message that was automated, and you know that you did not get processed in the first round. Now may be the time for you to go to another bank. Now may be the time for you to find a second source. You can apply at another bank, and you may never be able to get back to the other bank and tell them, hey, withdraw my application in time. But if you do apply at another bank and that bank were to fund you, and let's just say your big bank also tries to fund you, whoever goes first will lock your EIN out of the system. So, so if you applied as, bakery, Gainesville Bakery, you apply and, you had an account at a large bank, and then they applied a day later, the moment they tried to apply, it would pop up that you already have a PPP loan. So it doesn't hurt to go and find a second option. And our Georgia district offices are keeping a running tab of those banks that are participating. We've added over 50 new institutions to the Georgia database. These are lenders that did not participate in round one, but who are participating in round two. You can get that information. You can get that information directly from our Georgia State office.
Well, thank you for that. And one more question for you. So for those that didn't go through the PPP, but were going through the EIDL, the disaster relief loan, and they applied and they haven't heard anything, what do they do? What can they do now to see where that is in process?
Yeah, and I appreciate that question too. It's been frustrating for a lot of people to try to get responses back on the EIDL program, and I sympathize with that, and we've been pushing very hard with that office to make sure we're as transparent and as responsive as possible. Small business disaster is a separate arm of SBA that functions inside of the SBA umbrella, but has its own director and leadership, of which we work closely with. And we're trying our best to work with them to get, very clear answers for people. But as of right now, the portal is closed, and that so we're accepting no new people, but there's an upside to that. That means that we know that we have millions of applications on the EIDL side that now the disaster office can make sure they have a strategy on how they're going to serve those applicants and inform those applicants of what resources are available without having the added pressure of taking on additional applications. So hopefully during this time where they can, focus on who they need to serve by working with additional existing applicants, that they will hear information very soon. And we continue to do our best to push that office as much as possible to make sure that they are responsive to all constituent and all business concerns.
I appreciate that. I've got a couple questions here, Ashley, from folks that are joining us. If I have an offer on EIDL loan and I have been denied, can I find out the reason? Can I ask for an appeal?
Right, and I think that's again part of what I was mentioning. We need to push for more transparency as far as what those denial reasons are. I understand that the message that's coming out right now does not give you confidence really to understand why. And I've pushed that with our local office and at the top leadership that people need to understand why. I mean, there's no in any other loan process, if you get denied, usually you get some basis of understanding of where that comes from. So we're going to continue to push for that. There is no direct appeal process to EIDL loan applications, but hopefully through this time where they're recalibrating and making sure they can handle all the existing applicants, that they can give more information. But there's always other options. You still are eligible for the PPP program. You still are eligible to be able to take part in all the resources that SBA has to offer. Our traditional loan programs are still there for you, and as well as the PPP. So I think that there's still options out there for you, even if EIDL is not one. And if you live in certain cities, like if your business is in Atlanta, for everyone who is declined on EIDL, they're getting priority with our agency to help find them places to go, working with our SBDCs, which are 17 locations around the state of Georgia. The city of Atlanta and other cities have additional loan and grant programs at the city level for those funds. And so there's a lot of opportunities there, even if you don't receive an EIDL loan.
Okay. Last question here, Ashley, for you is, and this is an interesting one, and you may have covered this, but Jose Jimenez says, I have a minority-owned business, and I applied for the PPP on April 8th with a major bank. All my documentation was in order, but I did not get funding. Now the program is favoring smaller banks. Just yesterday, Bank of America sent me a notice that my application had been submitted to the SBA. What do I do?
Well, I kind of got to refer back to what I said a little earlier, because I think it sort of applies to this question. if you go to a larger bank and we're not funded on the first round, my advice is you may want to find a plan B. You want to find a bank that will take you now. Our SBA office does have a running list of banks that are suitable, that are PPP approved, as well as CDFIs and other institutions. And our friends here at ACE may be a good place for you to go to as well. If you have not talked to an actual person, this is just a advice from me from having seen this across this country. You have not talked to an actual person and your application was in on the first round of banks and your bank did not process it and you processed your loan and you did not speak to someone, you should probably find a plan B.
Okay, and this is the last one for you, Ashley. If I'm interested in access to capital for the growing number of business opportunities available, is the SBA making new loans or access to capital?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our existing SBA loan products are still available. You still have access to our 504, our 7A, our Express. All those avenues are still available for you to partake in. The PPP program is an emergency action passed by the President of the United States with alarming bipartisan support to help you with your employee needs and to make sure that over the next 8 weeks you have the ability to maintain your operations. But all SBA traditional resources from counseling to access to capital are still available.
Thank you, Ashley. I hope you can stay with us here as we bring on Grace. Thank you for your time and being so generous with us and being a good friend. You really are a good leader and a good friend. We're lucky to have you. Grace Fricks is CEO, founder and CEO, president, CEO of Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs. For those that don't know Grace, can you give a little bit of background? Because I know a lot of people don't, don't know what a CDFI is, and can you kind of explain briefly what it is, what the organization is, and what you do, and how you're involved in the PPP?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Grace Fricks, and like Santiago said, I'm the founder of ACE, or Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs. And as a founder, a 20-year founder, I found it in the back of my house, which is up in the mountains, and I'm sitting in my living room now. I'm very much like a business owner. And so I just wanted to tell you that I know how hard this is, because we, first of all, have to take care of our families, and our employees become our families because they're the ones that build our businesses. So, I just wanted you to know that I feel your pain personally. ACE, or Access to Capital, is what Ashley Bell referred to as a community development financial institution. That's just a fancy word that means we're certified by the Treasury to make loans to small businesses, to provide them with coaching and connections so that they can grow their business. Now, the important part of being a CDFI is that our target market is underserved populations. So underserved populations means Hispanic business owners, African-American business owners, women, low, moderate income business owners, and frequently rural. That's what we do. And we do it on purpose. We're not a bank. We are not a finance company. We are not a credit union. We are a mission-based lender. I wanted to tell you that we do have a relationship with the SBA. We have an ACE Women's Business Center that's located in Norcross. And that particular center serves men, and it does serve women also. And it provides business technical assistance, whether you're a borrower of ours or not. They will help you. We also have offices in Atlanta. We have a new one in Dalton, and we have one in Cleveland, Georgia. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you by name the 5 people on our staff that are standing by to help you. The overall program person who's working on the PPP for us is Ruth Ann Watley. She is my assistant normally, but she stepped up because of her extraordinary background in finance to help with the PPP program for ACE so that we could offer it to you. The 5 people who speak Spanish and are culturally Spanish that work for us, with us, my colleague, who, goodness gracious, she's from Catalonia. She's taught me not to say Spain. Luis Izaguirre, who is originally from Venezuela. Karen Malaga, who is originally from Colombia. Alejandra Diaz, who is Mexican-American. And Zeb Mendez, who is in Dalton. He's a lender for us in Dalton, and he is Mexican-American. These are important people because they are here to work with you and understand in a different way. I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint. It's very short. It's going to tell you a little bit about the PPP, but most importantly are the last two slides that you can either screenshot or we can email them to you. Alejandra at diaz@aceloans.org is on standby to email you these immediately, or the chamber will also email them to you. Ruth Ann, let's go to the third one. That one. The reason I want to show you this is because, as you can tell from talking with Ashley, there are complexities to these programs. And I will tell you honestly, I did not know that they were not going to reopen the economic disaster loan, the EIDL that he was talking about, until listening to him right now. So that's not a criticism of the SBA, because the demand that they're handling is tremendous, but it's also just to give you an idea that information is very valuable, and it doesn't move as quickly as we want. So what I am going to give you are some CDFIs that can process a PPP loan for you. And I'm going to give you some resource people that you can call or email that can help you. So if you look at this, you'll see on the left-hand side, there's ACE. That's our link right there. And we are accepting applications. We closed it yesterday. We're going to reopen it this afternoon for a while. We are anticipating putting out 5 million worth of loans. So far, 1.5 million have been approved by the SBA. Of those 1.5, how many of them up here are 340, almost 350,000 have been for Hispanics. That is 23% approval. So there's many more applications. There are over 200 applications in process right now. So you can apply there. The next one I want to share with you is called the Reinvestment Fund. The Reinvestment Fund is a CDFI also, but they are much larger than we are. They are headquartered in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but they have an office in Atlanta, Georgia. And they are able to put out $25 million worth of PPP. I talked with them yesterday, and they still have tremendous capacity to make loans. So, when Mr. Bell was talking about you go into another bank, I totally understand why he's saying that. For the underserved population, my recommendation would be to go to Reinvestment Fund, because I know what they have. I know what they have right now available, and their maximum is 200,000. The other one is Lendistry.com. Lendistry is just another CDFI that serves underserved, and $10 million worth of PPP money was put over there by Goldman Sachs specifically for metropolitan Atlanta. So I've checked, and these are open. So will you give me the next one, Ruth Ann? Okay, these are people that you can call that can help you. I spent an hour on the phone with all the staff of ACE who are Hispanic and talked to them about what they're hearing in the community. And what they shared with me is that there is a real sense of desperation, understandably, because besides all the responsibilities I shared with you at the beginning that I feel, that I know you feel, we also have this COVID-19 that is affecting our people. In fact, I had told Santiago that our chief credit officer is in the ICU in Gainesville right now. So it's affecting everybody. These particular people and these organizations can help you, because they can help you. So the ACE Women's Business Center, you will see here their phone number, their email. They offer English and Spanish, as you know. If you will call them or email them, if they can't help you directly, they will send you somebody who can. But for the most part, they're able to help you very tangibly. Carolina Ramon, she is with the SBDC, the Office of Minority Business Development. Here's her information. Contact her. Antonio Barrios, help you, and Nora Guzman. I talked to all of these people, and they are on standby to help you. So they are saying, just like my staff are saying, the most important thing is that you take a breath and get the information from them. Look at those three. I would go to Reinvestment Fund, Lendistry, and ACE, particularly in that order, and look at the materials there. Some of them have videos, and some of them have other kinds of marketing material that can explain the PPP and what documents you need to prepare for it. That will help you sort of get grounded in what you need to do and maybe reduce some of the desperation. But these people are there to help you. I did want to tell you one other thing. Actually, Ruth Ann, you can eliminate that. And again, we will send those to you. Thank you. I did want to tell you a couple of other things. The PPP, I just don't want you to forget that it is a loan. So there is a forgiveness component to it if it is used on payroll, because it's there to make sure that your business can stay in business, so you have the funds for 8 weeks. So you have to be sure to spend it on payroll and some types of other kinds of expenses. They're in the documents. But if, for example, you get a PPP loan and at the end of the 8-week period, when you're asked to supply other documentations, because the SBA will ask for that to prove what you've been doing, then if you haven't spent the money on the payroll and the rent and the utilities, the things that are important to keep your business open, then they are going to flip it that part you haven't spent over into a loan. And then you'll owe that, in 2 years, you'll have to pay 1%. So that's, I'm telling you that because it's really important to pay attention to the fact that there's just a forgiveness component. It does not mean it's not a loan. The other thing that Ashley had mentioned is that there are still other lending. There's other lending going on. If you will keep up with the ACE loans website, it's aceloans.org, you will see that we are constantly working with others to do programs. Right now, there's Fulton County Commission, Fulton County Development Authority. They're getting ready. Those are going to open back up. And we're in conversations with other counties now that are doing specific programs for people in their counties. Thank you very much. And we will all get through this together.
Well, thank you, Grace. And certainly everybody that you mentioned, I know well, I've worked with for years, and they're all great people, including Carolina Ramon and Antonio Barrios and Nora and that staff, right? So it feels like family.
It is family.
It's family, and especially now, and we'll keep praying for your, I think you said your chief lending officer, make sure that, hopefully our prayers will help, and remember that we're all under, we're all facing this crisis together, and we really appreciate you and Ashley coming on and joining us. So you will open back up. You said you're going to open back up this afternoon. You're encouraging
Yes.
people to go to the reinvestment
The
fund.
reinvestment fund, yes. Lindustry and us.
Okay. All right. And now a question I had for you, and I think we talked about this before everybody came on, is do you have an idea as to how long you guys will be, providing the PPP, how long the 5 million will last, or is it a day or 2 days, 3 days? Any idea, any gauge on that?
I actually think we will be out of the 5 million by tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons why I talked to the reinvestment fund to make sure that they had the capacity, because it's very frustrating for anyone to be told to go to a link and they can't get what they need.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And for anyone that has accountants, I'm sure you all have already done this. If you've got an accountant, go to your accountant, because they are going to be able to pull the information about your business and take care of this very quickly.
Thank you. Ashley, I was going to ask you for, closing comments, and then we'll have Grace give some closing comments before I wrap it up.
Yeah, I just want to, again, thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank ACE for all the work that they're doing. And just as you can tell, there's just a community spirit around this. Everybody wants to be helpful. If you can't find help one place, we're all directing each other to places that can find help. So I appreciate the Chamber for being a clearinghouse for good ideas and good solutions for people to use to make it through this time. I just want to close with saying that, this might not be our last round of funding, but you need to take advantage of these opportunities right now. The time is of the essence. SBA is here to help. We'll make sure that we can help find you opportunities, whether it's through our counseling to make sure that your business has the right expertise and know-how. So not only take advantage of the capital, but know how to use it well, so you have a plan on how to succeed after this, or whether it's our capital, our traditional programs, our 7A, our 504, those programs are still there. And the government is still spending money. So if you're interested in government contracting opportunities, that's still there. Usually in crisis, as you can see, the government spends more money during a crisis than not. So if you have a product or service that you think the federal government needs to take advantage of, please let us know. We'd love to have you as a part of one of our fantastic and iconic small business development programs. So with that said, SBA.gov has all of this information. Santiago, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your time, my friend. You've been a great friend, a great leader during these times. Let's make sure we stay in touch and keep the faith.
Thank you, Ashley, for being with us. We know that you got a lot going on. Grace, closing comments, please, before I wrap it up.
I just echo what Ashley said. I'm so appreciative to you and to the Georgia Chamber for pulling all of us together and providing this information so that we can get this out to people. And I think it is going to be, as painful as all this is now, we are all entrepreneurs. And so whatever the pain is that we're feeling now, we will get through this. And just like you started successful businesses, you will pivot and you will be successful. And the SBA and ACE, the Chamber, we will be here with you to help your businesses grow.
Well, thank you, and thank your team for all the work that you guys are doing. You guys have been excellent partners, and we keep deepening our partnership. So just to wrap up, I just want to remind everybody to go to our website, ghcc.org, and go for our COVID-19 resource page. We are starting to turn the corner a little bit. We know that we're kind of in the second phase of the virus right now, in terms of we're focusing on economic emergence. In a week or two, next week, you're going to start to see some virtual networking programming that we're going to be doing. And here in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start hearing about a recovery and a business accelerator that we're going to be launching with Wells Fargo and the U.S. Hispanic Chamber. And we're really excited about that. It'll be an 8-month program that will help businesses recover from this and then hopefully get them back to growing. their business. So more to come on that. Again, thank you guys for tuning in, and join us tomorrow. We'll have more programming tomorrow. I hope everybody stays safe, and please follow the orders. We're still in the shelter-in-place orders, so please try to stay home. Keep washing your hands, keep the social distancing going. If you have to go out and work, just take care of yourself and be careful. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Grace, and your team.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye, everybody.